Okay, so these are our two squares in order to do the small pillow. We're on the wrong side of the fabric here, and this is the correct side of the fabric, and we always want to put the correct sides of the fabric facing each other because we sew inside out. We're going to need to make sure that they're lined up. If they're not lined up, we can just turn it and try to line it up better, and that works out a little bit better. And we're going to need 2 pins. So we put a pin into the fabric and back out, facing the inside of the pillow. This helps to keep the pillow steady while we sew. Now we're going to need to use the all-purpose thread, and it looks like right here is where the notch is. This is a brand new roll, so we have to take the thread off of the notch and pull it out about arm's length apart. Put your thread on an angle, and it just makes it easier to thread. Line up your pinky with your thumb, and I got it through in the first shot, yay. Okay, and then you're going to match up the tail. I showed you how to do this magic knot, but I'm going to show you again. You put the needle in your left hand and thumb and pointer finger with the needle point up, and you give these tails to the thumb to hold onto, and this part that comes off the right hand side of your thumb goes around the back of the needle 3 times. You tuck everything in, and you take the needle and you pull, holding on tightly to everything that's underneath the needle, and there is the magic knot. I also like to trim the tails off so they don't get into the way when I'm sewing. So our first stitch that you're going to learn is called the running stitch. So you're going to learn the running stitch, a back stitch, and then the tie-off knot. That's all the 3 things that you're going to learn today. When you're making a small pillow though, you're going to stitch on this sewing line all the way around your pillow until you get to the 3rd side, and then you're going to stop halfway through the 3rd side, right here. If you don't stop and you continue sewing, you're going to sew the whole thing shut, and you don't want to do that. You want to stop here, do a tie-off knot, and turn this little pillow inside out. So because this is a little pillow and not a big pillow, we're going to start in the corner here where the 2 lines meet. But if this had been our big pillow, we're going to start at the edge of the fabric, and we stitch all the way to the edge of the fabric. The reason why we do that for the big pillow is because otherwise you would have a hole here and a hole here by not stitching all the way through that line. But because this is a small little pillow, we're just going to sew on the sewing line. You come up through the bottom and you pull it all the way through, and your knot should keep you from going any further. And now you're going to do the running stitch. The running stitch, and I always put the pins down a little further so it's not in the way of us stitching. But the way that you stitch is you're going to, and I'm going to show you the fast way because I believe that you guys can all handle the fast way instead of the slow way. So I'm not even going to show you the slow way. You're going to go poke into the fabric. It goes all the way through. See how it comes through? And then you're going to pop back up on top of the fabric, back down again, back up, back down, back up. It's just weaving this through, back up and back down, and then you're going to pull it all the way through, tiny little stitches. If you get a little tangle, it's okay. You straighten it out and you give one of these a little tug, and it should fix the problem of having like a little tangle there. So those are the size that you need as far as the stitches, nice and small. And then you're going to need to do a back stitch. What the back stitch does, it keeps it from getting all gathered and puckered up. Here's what I mean by gathered and puckered up, okay? When you sew, if you continue to sew with the running stitch, it will make it squish up like this, and it will not be good. You don't want your pillow to be a round pillow. You want it to be a square pillow. So we have to put in a back space here. Now this is a tough thing to see on here, but I'm telling you where it is. It might show up better on blue. mouse pad back down and see if this would show up better on the blue. I also like to use my pointer finger, or my middle finger and my pointer finger to hold the fabric. And here, right at this last loop, right in front of that last loop, you're going to go down, and right in front of where your fabric came out, you're going to come up. That is called a back stitch. When I pull this now, it doesn't gather anymore. It stays in that one full piece, okay? So let's try that again. We'll do it one more time, where we weave on the sewing line, back and front, making sure you're going all the way through and coming all the way back up, all the way through and all the way back up, and then you're going to pull it through, straighten it out, and you're doing the back stitch. The back stitch goes in front of this last stitch. You go down and back up in front of it all to start your 3 stitches again. That is all there is to sewing, and but you need to know how to do the tie-off knot, otherwise all your hard work will go to waste because it'll all unravel. So when I get to a pin, I move it to the next side that I'm going to sew. And now we need to put in a knot. Let's just pretend for a second that my thread was this long, okay? Not this long, but this long. That means you need to change the thread and put longer thread on it. Or, let's just say this was the last side that you needed to sew, and you need to make a tie-off knot and stop now. Whenever you need to stop, you have to do a knot. Okay, so the knot goes like this. You go around your hand, in through the hole twice, and pull. Okay, and when you pull, it brings this little knot down here. If I was just to pull one side, the knot's going to slide up. See, the knot just slid up. We don't want the knot up there, we want the knot down there. So we need to pull this down, again, put your finger there, and let it slide underneath, and now the knot has just stayed down there, and it's ready to cut off now. That is a tie-off knot. So to recap, we put this in here, we did 3 or 4 stitches forward just by weaving, and then we pulled it through, and then we did 1 stitch back, and that was in front of that last stitch, and then we came back in front of it all to start my 3 stitches again. When you need to do a tie-off knot, it goes around your hand, turn your hand over, stick the thread in through the hole twice, and pull, and it will make you a knot. Okay?